Hello there, mate. How's it going? Welcome back to the channel of Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. And yes, welcome back to the Stamford Bridge studio. Temporary green screen behind me. I will alternate between green screen work and indeed just the new office. But welcome back to Chelsea News. It's lovely to see you again here on the channel. Today we're talking about funny stuff. Good fun. Mourinho 3.0 links, which is just a funny meme. We're going to talk about a story of that. I will talk about the midfield and this crazy Moises Caicedo transfer announcement, which has blown my mind, and I just think it's really, really funny. I think he might be... We'll get into that. I think he might be going to Arsenal, but it's just wild, man. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for dropping a like on the video. It means a lot. The support, I do genuinely feel it from you guys, so thank you for it. And why not subscribe if you enjoy daily content from this guy, huh? Look, Mourinho 3.0 apparently was always a legitimate story on the cards, so say if a few people, we will read an article on that, which is going to be pretty funny. Not that I'm saying Mourinho should come back to Chelsea, I just want to react accordingly and talk about it. But Chelsea are, of course, looking for a midfielder still. We spoke yesterday on Malo Gusto. Chelsea have seemingly completed the signing of the exciting young French right back. He will be loaned for the rest of the season. If you haven't watched that upload, go check out my previous upload, and then you can come back and watch this video, or just, you know, in whichever order you fancy, but just watch both. Malo Gusto looks very, very exciting. Chelsea think he's the best under-20 fullback in Europe, and they just wanted to get ahead of rivals and make sure they signed him. So it's ultimately good, and we'll just make do for the fullback positions for the rest of the season. But we are looking for a midfielder. We made a more recent approach for Enzo Fernandez than Moises Caicedo. So this is why I think this story is leaning to Arsenal, because we made a £55 million bid for the Brighton Ecuadorian midfielder, which was rejected by Brighton. Arsenal then came and made a £60 million bid. Chelsea haven't since responded, and I don't think we will. I think if we were going to pay much more, we'd be looking at an Enzo Fernandez or something. You'd make that extra jump over. But check out, right? This is wild, bro. He posted this. Moises Caicedo posted this on his own Instagram. I'm about to show you the caption, and this is with a picture of. It's not a picture of him. It's a picture of the Brighton and Hove Albion football crest badge. So it looks like an official announcement, like it's coming from them. Check out this caption that he wrote. I'm grateful to Mr. Bloom and Brighton for giving me the chance to come to the Premier League, and I feel I've always done my best for them. I always play football with a smile and heart. This is a goodbye tour already through this caption. I am the youngest of 10 siblings from a poor upbringing in Santo Domingo in Ecuador. My dream always is to be the most decorated player in the history of Ecuador. It's nice. Sweet ambition, like, I'm with you, but where's this going? I am proud... This goes from, like, a sweet story about football to, like, seemingly, like, a fabricate. Okay, so Brighton's stance on the player is he's just not for sale. They've made loads of money. They've just sold Cucurella to us recently for 65 million, thereabouts, 62, 65 million, right? He's not for sale. Brighton have made that very clear. He's not for sale. But Brothers just come in and said, I am proud to be able to bring in a record transfer fee for Brighton. So dude's not even just saying, I'm proud to, like, bring... He's like, record transfer fee. Bearing in mind, Arsenal have just bid 60 million. That's the highest bid from, like, Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano. But dude is selling himself like, yeah, I'm a record transfer. I'm proud about this. When he's not even for sale, the public's, well, certainly this internal stance from Brighton is. So I'm proud to bring in a record transfer fee for Brighton, which would allow them to reinvest and help the club to be more successful. So he's almost saying, like, you know, it's right. You'll be better for... So he's not... And when everyone read this first, they were like, oh, you know, hot dog. The dude's accidentally posted this too early. He's being sold to probably Arsenal. And he's gone 48 hours too early with the goodbye and thank you message. But no, news has since come out that he's just trying to flog himself. And this is wild. Dude has announced his transfer away from Brighton when he's not even up for sale. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. This is absolutely crazy. The fans have taken this as like a nice goodbye, to the fans. I hope they understand for this. He's just literally, this is a goodbye and thank you message. And not only that, he's detailed elements of the transfer that he sees beneficial. I am a record transfer. This money's going to help the club. But Brighton are like, no, he's not for sale. They said he's not in the squad for the next game. And after, when the window closes, they're going to reintegrate him back into the team and tell him to, like, stop being mental. It blew my mind, bro. Like, he's a good player. I am, whatever, like, I'm so indifferent to this. I don't think he might prove to be worth loads, but I looked at his scouting report. I was like, yeah, fine, but... people were way more excited about Cucurella in terms of the numbers he was producing at Brighton and his technical flexibility, and he hasn't set the world alight at Chelsea. I don't know, man. Like, we've got Andre Santos. I think Cesare Caicedo is going on a championship loan, which would be good for him, like Mason Mount and Reece James did. I don't know, dude. If Arsenal get him, fair play. I mean, Arsenal were good, man. Also Caicedo's got new agents. So these new agents, this is like guerrilla tactics here. But he probably wants to go to Arsenal. Arsenal are a good team. Of course, they got eliminated by Man City in the cup last night, but they were away in the Etihad, and it was 1 goal, and it was the goal. They probably shouldn't have conceded that goal. They are the 2 best teams in England at the moment, as much as it hurts to say. Let's move on and talk about some top-tier drama. Now, I know this story is meant to be real, but I haven't read it yet. Jose Mourinho would like a return to Chelsea Football Club for a 3rd spell. Free man, respect man. I mean, everything comes in threes. Now, disclaimer before you read this article on the Mail Online, I do not want this to happen. I still think he's the most decorated manager. Like, you could say, like, you talk about, obviously, Alex Ferguson in terms of, like, domestic long-term achievements. You talk about Pep Guardiola in terms of the best product at different clubs. But he hasn't done what Jose's done. Jose, of course, the miracle of what he did with Porto, incredible. He went to Porto and said, first, I'm going to qualify for the Champions League, and the next season, I'm going to win the Champions League. Did it. Do you know what I mean? And then he's like, turns up at Chelsea, and he's like, I'm a special one, I'm going to win. Absolutely smashes it. just breaks records at Chelsea immediately, wins 2 Premier League titles, upsets the apple cart, Wenger and Ferguson and all that kind of stuff. Great stuff from Mourinho. He goes off to Inter. Wins the treble for Inter, which he's still like, praised for and they like worshipped for out there. Mic drops, wins the treble, and like, see ya. Dude goes to Real Madrid and knocks Pep Guardiola off his perch and wins with a record 100 points in La Liga, wins with a record 120 goals in La Liga. You talk about boring Mourinho. He went out there and just blew like Pep out the water and got inside his head. Guardiola was saying all kinds of crazy stuff in press conferences. And he just absolutely smashed it in Real Madrid. And of course, he returned to Chelsea and won the Premier League again for the 3rd time. And then you could say the decline starts. Many people would say the decline started at Real Madrid because he started losing his mojo. But comparatively winning multiple Champions Leagues with underdogs teams and, breaking records and winning titles everywhere as well. You got Guardiola's got the best product, but he's been at these super well-funded teams. And, his European pedigree isn't as good as Mourinho. And of course, Mourinho's won 2 Europa Leagues, and he's the only manager to win the Conference League. Do you know what I mean? And his last manager to win Manchester United trophies, which is wild. So that is an achievement. Of course, finished 2nd with them as well. And then he's had this really nice story at Roma. He's absolute box office, and he suits Chelsea well. But personally, I do think he's cooked. I think he's probably allured by the new project and new ownership at Chelsea. Won't have to deal with Roman again. I don't think. Obviously, Roman asked for him back personally, but maybe he's allured by that. But I think he's cooked as a modern day top tier manager. And also, I won't go over the fact how he went to Tottenham. He said he'd never managed Tottenham and he went to Tottenham. So for me, that's it. But let's find out what the Mail's saying, because this is a wild story. Ahead of the game, Jose Mourinho wants to return to the Premier League with a third spell at Chelsea, his ideal scenario, as he's frustrated at Roma from the lack of financial backing. And if he wants financial backing... If he wants financial backing, look no further than Todd Bowley's West London Blues, or Cowboys, whatever you want to call them, because we are throwing money round willy-ruddy-nilly, mate. So it's absolutely... I get it, right? Jose Mourinho is eager to return to England. Chelsea because of the financial backing. An extraordinary third spell at Chelsea would be his ideal scenario, as his representatives have let it be known he would be interested in any vacancy at Stamford Bridge. Any vacancy at Stamford Bridge? That infers so, he'll do the cleaning. Any vacancy I'll take at Stamford Bridge. I'll, work at the bar. But the club have made it clear they intend to stand by Graham Potter. Good. Now, we can love Mourinho, the culture... the football heritage, all very much, yeah. But, yeah. Mourinho's wife and children still love London, and he's always preferred working in the Premier League. He's 60 now, by the way, Mourinho. 1060 the other day. Happy birthday, boss. The Portuguese won the Europa Conference League last season, and they are currently 5th in Serie A, but the lack of resources to fight for the title. The West Ham job could also be available. Imagine if he turns out the one, but he's not going to come and do a relegation fight, is he? Although Mourinho would not leave Roma during the middle of the season. Look, very, very interesting and funny. But the truth is, stability is the way forwards, ladies and gentlemen. We want calm, we want communication. And another word, C, that could finish that alliteration. But Jose is box office. He brings chaos, passion, and uncertainty. And I think, like I said, he's cooked. And as he's on the other side of the spectrum for Graham Potter is very chilled and calm and not, like I've said it many times, for a content creator, it's really hard to get juice out of for content. But this, whereas Mourinho, Conte, and Tuchel were not. But, ultimately, as a football fan, even though you want to get juiced up with the passion and the theatre, ultimately you want a calm head, because you're not going to have a long-term project unless you have this calm communicator, which Graham Potter is. And the football should theoretically be good. He does want to play attacking football. These Brighton players that are all going for millions of pounds, they're ultimately because of Graham Potter's developed project at Brighton. The new ownership won't blink. They see that's what they want at Chelsea. They're investing a long term. And Graham Potter knows the grand, the full scope of his job, which will be working at Chelsea, being the head coach at Chelsea, but knowing there'll be satellite clubs, knowing there'll be feeder clubs, and working with certain individuals. Massive football technical team, massive recruitment team, and have the afforded ability of just bringing in loads of appropriate talent to what he wants to do. Now, Mourinho is still siege mentality. Mourinho is still underdog, and you could say at the moment being 10th in the league with that underdog mentality might suit us. But last time we were 10th in the league, Jose Mourinho was managing Chelsea. Funny how things happen. It's all just cyclical, isn't it? It all comes back together. Anyway, I thought it was a wild story. I wanted to talk about it. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, loads of stories will pop up in the next couple of days for the transfers. So make sure you'll subscribe. You hit the bell when you subscribe. And thank you for liking the video. And yeah, thanks for joining me again. Really means a lot. See you soon. Love you. Bye.